There was some pretty risky challenges made in the first half, but in reality, the better team have come out on top. Goals from Brennan Johnson and a second one from João Palhinha in the first half. The Blues could have put themselves back in the game with a mistake by Spurs that wasn't punished inside their own area, but a pass from Haaland evaded Cherki. And a really disappointing day has also seen Aït-Nouri taken off with injury. So Spurs have undone the Blues here at the Etihad Stadium. Final score, City 0, Spurs 2. Well, let's go back to the studio and we can join Cal, who's with Steph Hall and Michael Brown.
Thanks for joining us on Matchday Live. My name is Cal Spellman. We've got Steph Horton and Michael Brown alongside me here in the studio. We've been bringing you all the build-up and half-time reaction and now full-time reaction to our game against Tottenham Hotspur. First of the season here at the Etihad Stadium. It's not gone the way any of us wanted to see. It's finished Manchester City 0, Tottenham Hotspur 2. Them 2 goals coming in the first half. That second one, which feels like the killer blow with just a few minutes to go at the end of that first half. Michael Brown, how much of it today was how great and good Tottenham were, and also were you disappointed with parts of City performance today?
Well, when it set off, City were controlling the ball as expected. I felt like this was looking comfortable. We're going to start to create.
Yeah.
But Tottenham just started to grow in it. Their press was really aggressive from the front. They wanted to press, they wanted to get in and around you, and then the counter-attacks were quick and smooth. When you concede the goals like you do, at this level, unfortunately, they've got something to fight for. They'll stay in the shape and pick you off when you overcommit. And that was pretty much what happened. We tried to find solutions in the second half. We made all the changes. But unfortunately, Tottenham were very organised. They played very, very well. To a man, everybody was really, really tight. Their distances were good. And then wherever the press was, the 3 in midfield were excellent. Yeah. You've got to say that little protection in front of those 2 central defenders. Pearl was a match, wasn't he, for Doku for 1v1s into that second half. And we just literally weren't as good as what we needed to be today. And we pretty much got schooled how to counter-attack and away performances, and that happens against good players.
There was, I think you said, Steph, there as well, it felt like Tottenham very much won the midfield battle today, disappointingly. Is that, do you feel, obviously the second goal feels like a mistake from Trafford, but was the game kind of won and lost in that area of the pitch? Because it did feel energetically, you know, and also fight for the ball. Tottenham kind of won both areas of that for me.
Yeah, and you look at both midfields, obviously our midfield of Nico, Cherki and Reinders is pretty new, but also Tottenham's and Sarr, Bentancur and Palhinha, who was fantastic today. But I think, for me, from a basic and a simplicity point of view, I think Spurs' game plan was really spot on in terms of they made it hard for us to create them chances, but when Tottenham got their chances, they took them. They had the 2 chances, scored, and they were able to defend, because you can just see that they're very, very well coached and very well organised. And what's it been, 6-7 weeks since Thomas Frank's been in, which is a credit to him and his coaching staff in terms of what they do. But I just thought we were a little bit off it today, and I think we've got to be realistic and have perspective. It's going to be a very, very long season. We're going to get players up to that speed of what this Premier League is and get into a bit of form. You obviously see Rodri coming back. He makes such a big difference when he comes on.
Yeah.
Foden, he looked sharp when he came on as well. So I think we've got to take the positives. Obviously, of course, we're going to be disappointed because we've set such high standards. But yeah, I think credit has to go to Tottenham for a lot of today.
I mean, and again, this is nothing you mentioned there, Steph, but quite amazing, Michael Brown, to think, you know, obviously he signed Palhinha, he didn't quite have the defence last year, Ange, but to see the difference what Thomas Frank has made there is quite amazing, really, considering a lot of those players were playing for Spurs last season.
Exactly. I mean, he's an organiser. He knows exactly what he needs and how he's going to play.
Yeah. Those 2 centre-backs, he lost them for long periods last season, let's be honest with that. Obviously, a big plus point from Romero. Wants to go strong, he wants to go tight. Yeah.
He's a little bit aggressive, too much at times, but you know he wants to defend. So they've had that organisation, that line just in front of them. But I do go back to, we can't go too far into it like it was the most amazing performance from Spurs and not necessarily from City. Is you concede goals. We started to do it last season. If you concede goals like the way you do, doesn't matter who you're playing against, in that Premier League, you're going to find it tough. It's going to be a huge uphill task, because teams have just got a major, major lift when they come here and you take the lead, especially when it's 2. They just stay, they wait, and then you have to overcommit. Like I say, you get countered. And that's probably the message here, what you've got to take from it. How do we, Steph said before, didn't you, that you felt like we could get a clean sheet again?
Yeah.
And that was something to build from. And we talked about in the build-up, don't we? Let's do that first and then build from it. But unfortunately, we couldn't do it.
Is it as well, Steph, disappointing that come that second half, or as much as Tottenham were well organised as sat in, but I didn't feel we fashioned many chances. And Haaland today, I can't really think of too much he did on the pitch today. We know he needs that service, but then even when he dropped in, hold-up play wasn't best. I found that a little bit worrying. We didn't seem to create too much. What would you have liked to have seen us try a little bit more of?
I think maybe stretch Tottenham a little bit. I think we were obviously want to come to the ball. We've got players that are very want the ball, want to get on the half turn, want to get in pockets. But I think sometimes as a defender, like I know like when you've got people running behind you and trying to strike you back, it's something else to think about. You can't just concentrate on the ball. You've got to think what's in behind you. And I think Reinders, we've seen him do that a lot against Wolves, then runs in behind the back four. Did we see that enough today? Did we see Doku when he come in? Did he try and make runs in advance to maybe then come and get on the ball? So I think
We've seen Phil try and make them inside 3 or 4 times.
Yeah.
In decision
just
making
ran away,
as
but
well.
that was what we were talking about at half-time, that stretch.
Yes.
Yeah.
In those positions, just try and open it up, try and test the defence. You know yourself, it's in front of you, you're much more comfortable.
It can't
He's a
always just
holding
be on
midfield
Haaland
player
to
or-
score as well.
No.
I think we have to start chipping in and creating chances. And look, he does amazing for what he does, and maybe didn't have the best of games today, but I think sometimes it's like who's going to step up to try and provide or to score. I mean, Foden had that chance, which was an unbelievable block by, I think it was Van der Ven or Romero. So I think we create them little bit of opportunities, but there's so much space in behind. Do we cause enough problems? Probably not.
And is this a case, Michael, I think a little bit of just, taking what you're both saying there, a lot of lessons will be learned from today's game, as you say. Players getting up to speed, and no disrespect to Wolves, but coming up against a well-drilled and organised Thomas Frank team with that midfield, very different proposition for a Reinders to experience. As well as then, of course, maybe new tactics that are being implemented from, the likes of Pep Linders and Kolo Touré. Are all of these things that we're learning and going to hopefully will pay off further down the line?
It's going to.
Yeah.
It will take time. That'll be a real disappointment. That'll be a bit of a shock after last week.
Yeah.
So when you think, right, the team's good, positive, we're going to win. We knew this was going to be a test. There's something about this Spurs team as well that you sort of get it out of the way because they've got a great record against us now. But you just feel, I don't know, I'm just a bit disappointed of the outcome. There just wasn't enough there, was there? Going forward in the wider positions, regards to creating more chances, the space. Haaland as well, getting a little bit frustrated that he didn't get those slide passes.
Yeah.
So it's just that balance of understanding your new teammates where you can either come short or go in behind, run off on the angle. We've seen he likes that one, doesn't he, Erling, where he just sort of guides you, guides that slide pass. There was once towards the end, Rodri could have given him it.
Yeah.
He went wide, it was still a decent pass.
Yeah.
But Erling's like, why have you given it me? But it was just like, you get frustrated when you're losing, when you're chasing it. But I think there's a lot to learn.
Yeah.
I think the manager will find reasons. You'll see exactly why it hasn't happened, and you'll be on them.
It's interesting as well when we're saying about a lot to learn. That is the youngest average age of a Manchester City squad since 2010. Average age of that squad out there, starting 11, 24. So there's even something in that, isn't there, as well? There's very much familiarity.
It felt a bit like that.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you
I think
know
when we walked in the stadium today, I think everything's just a bit new.
Yeah.
Which is crazy to say that because you've got a lot of those players that have been here for a long time, but there's new methods, there's new coaching staff. Look, I think in terms of pre-season, what is this, our 3rd or 4th game in terms of...
True.
From pre-season, this Tottenham team's been together for a long, long time and probably up to that match sharpness, but not to use that too much of an excuse because I think we just demand from the boys a lot in terms of the standards and what they can do, but I think Brownlee's right, just that little bit that we're so used to seeing them do, it just wasn't there today. Nah.
Well, I do just want to say, and I know, Steph, you mentioned this, silver lining, I did think when Phil Foden came on, and what was quite interesting as well is usually so much when Bernardo's been on the pitch, is Phil will put Phil out wide and leave Bernardo in the middle, but he moved Bernardo out wide to have Phil in the middle, and he looked, it was only a little glimpse, but it felt like he had a bit of...
Yeah, he's got that. I'm sure if you asked him where he'd want to play, he'd be in that position.
In the 10,
yeah.
10 and 8 sort of thing. Do you know, he can get in and around it, get on the half turn, get into areas, run forward when needed into those areas between centre back and full back that we're looking for Pep's sides to do. But it was a positive. Rodri getting minutes.
Yes,
he got a nice evasion coming in. So I think we'll get going. It's just going to take time. Fixtures, obviously, is a bit of a gap. It's a strange one, isn't it? We come back quick, and then we've got the international.
Yeah, I think we got Brighton, I think, next week, and then is it the international break, and then back. Well, let's quickly touch on Brighton. They were very unlucky last week with that last-minute goal they conceded, but never an easy place to go down there to Brighton, to the Seagulls.
No, it's not, and obviously probably that game in November was probably the turning point of our season last season in terms of our performance, ultimately Brighton winning. And look, I think under Herzler, they've definitely got a style of football. That's what Brighton teams do, and they're bringing a lot of good international players, and he's got them well drilled. So I think when you do that journey as a player going from Manchester to Brighton, it's always hard, and the Amex will be rocking. So I think they've got Everton tomorrow, which will be a tough game in Everton's new stadium.
Yes.
So be interested to watch that and see what the outcome is. But yeah, I think any game in the Premier League is going to be tough. I think there's so many teams that have got so much quality.
It does feel, doesn't it, Michael, does it feel like the quality across the board with all the teams in the Premier League, it's almost gone up another notch? I know, like, just a lot of fans generally were all saying, I feel this could be probably one of the most hotly contested and exciting Premier League seasons.
You win the first two games, whoever team, the middle team, said, oh, they're going to finish in the Champions League. Could there be a real challenge? Yeah. Come on, we'll find out in a couple of hours. If Sunderland win again, we're up and running. That's for sure.
I can't wait to message you.
But that's it. You know, the excitement comes, and then in November we've had that debate: can they sustain it?
Yes.
And generally, the bigger teams do come through. Certain wobbles along the way, but it's off. It's exciting. That's what we want. We want the games come thick and fast wherever possible, and they're the challenges. And I think this team and this management staff have been right through at the top end, and they'll find a solution. There'll
be a little refresh amongst some of them players that maybe started today for you, maybe from the bench might start against Brighton. Do you think, Michael?
I think there's always changes. I think we've talked about there's possibility of keeping the same team. Yeah. Because they won at Wolves, but he didn't feel like that was the right decision. I think with the squads now and the way the games are and the tactical things, that maybe as fans you don't always go, well, they won last week, why can't they play? But the other players better in that position to see us help win that game against the Brighton.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's been an absolute pleasure. Bar the result, it's been so great to be back with you in the studio, and of course with you Manchester City fans all around the world. We're going to be with you every step of the way this season, as we always are. Thank you to Michael, thank you to Steph, and we want to say as well, of course, I've been wearing this all day because it is Pride here in Manchester this weekend. I mean, Manchester is alive. It looks absolutely beautiful, so everyone's celebrating. Enjoy that, and of course we'll be with you as we take on Brighton next weekend on my birthday. Just going to put that one out there, just so all the team know. It's my birthday next weekend, August the 31st.
Special one, isn't it?
It's the big 3-0.
But, oh.
30 years old.
God, dude. Someone said it was a big one. So you've shocked me saying it was 30.
Thank you so much, guys. Have a wonderful rest of the weekend. Not the result that we wanted, but don't worry, it's just the start. And we go again next week. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Good afternoon.
Into the perspective of the player, it's quite accurate.
Favourite Space lets you visit the Etihad Stadium from your home. Take a virtual tour, listen to live commentary, chat to City fans across the globe, and watch immersive highlights of every home game. Here's what the players think.
I think this is a good interaction for fans and supporters.
Especially when you go into the perspective of the player, it's quite accurate.
You don't actually realise how intense the tempo is until you see something like this, which is very good. So yeah, top.
The Joy Stadium. We're proud to call this place our home. A home where magic moments unfold, full of goals and entertainment. Welcome to anyone and everyone. Changing the way things are done for today and tomorrow. Because there really is no place like home.